to borrow your Kindle. I have to borrow your Kindle, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm just going to read something. Well, everything that's happened so far has been perfect, just spot on. I asked people to do things, but I didn't, I gave them a basic gist of what we were trying to accomplish tonight, but I didn't say, what to do, what not to do, what to read or anything. And the thing that's amazing is how everything that's happened has sort of all flowed together, There's been a common theme without trying to bring a common theme together. It's come together naturally. So I'm not going to talk for a real long time. I'm just going to be very brief, and then we'll move on, because I think a lot has been said already that needs to be said. Something happened to me on December 22nd. Besides my birthday, that has transformed my entire life, and I believe it's what I have been preparing for my entire life up until now. And for the first time in my life, I now see my purpose. So ever since I was a little boy, I was searching, always looking for what my purpose was to be. And then I had an experience on the 22nd of this year, and it's come very clear to me what the purpose is, what my purpose is. So I'll just briefly describe what my experience was. I know most of you have probably read it, because I sent it out to people, but I'll briefly go over it one more time. The 22nd, of course, we were, those of us who we call, and I use this term as a term of endearment, those of my crazy talker friends and I were all preparing for the great shift. The Mayan calendar was ending on the 21st. The 22nd was going to be the start of a new age. So, of course, we didn't know what to expect. And so I did meditations on the 21st, and we did a family meditation on the 22nd here on the floor. And my girls were all there, and Jenny was there. And for those of you who have been in the meditation group with me before, I've always talked about the place that I always go to in my meditation. So I went to that same place that I go to, and I had an amazing experience that I couldn't really talk about for a couple days. That involved being with a large group of people, beings of light, things that I saw when I was a young child, and not only in dreams, but things that I saw, that I think I saw in the room with me, that I would not say were dreams. So I experienced all of these people coming together, and we stood in this place and we watched the planetary alignment happen, and everything that I knew was light, surrounded with light at that moment, and I couldn't see anything. And then when the light dissipated, there were three beings coming towards us, and this meditation lasted for half an hour in our time, but I swear it went on forever. And it was Jesus Christ, Mary, and St. Michael the Archangel who were coming towards us. And there's a big celebration. And at some point, I went off and talked with Jesus. This sounds crazy even saying it, but this is what happened. And I honestly believe that this is real for me. Like, this is not some imagination of the mind for me. My spirit, I believe, was in contact with higher vibrational beings during that meditation. And so this is the information that I was told. And I'm sorry I'm sorry if anybody, wasn't prepared for the craziness of this, but this is what I believe. So Jesus said to me that he came into the world a long time ago, and he left and came back as spirit and lived in the hearts of humankind. This was the first coming. Now he is returning to live within the mind of humankind as the Christ consciousness. This is the second coming. He went on to say that all things are vibration, which is God. Oh, I'm sorry. That all things are vibration, and when we begin to connect with the energy that has come from the planetary alignment, we will increase our vibration and start to experience harmony with the universal vibration, which is God the Father. That is what he came to teach a long time ago. He said connecting with this new energy will be very easy for some and more difficult for others. When we are able to connect, we will find many new worlds and levels of understanding. Jesus the Christ also said that peace will come to the world in 435 years. That is how long it will take the Christ consciousness to spread and become part of every human experience. He said that we must work on establishing the energy and state of mind so that it takes root. This work is very important. It is why we are here at this time. We must continue to practice our spiritual practices of every kind with an earnest heart. We must release our attachment to lower vibrations in every aspect of our lives, including the food that we eat, the music that we listen to, the relationships that we have, and everything that we encounter. We must project the vibration of love and understanding to everyone. Jesus said that we will have peace within, but that this work will not always be easy. We will meet resistance from lower vibrating beings and energy of every kind. If we remain focused on love and light, we will receive help from higher vibrational friends and energies. The changes that we make now will be a guide for others and for future generations. More information I think was passed along, and I believe that I'm not ready to understand that, and so it'll take some time to process that other information. But that was the message that I received on December 22nd. And since then, I have been transformed into something that my life has changed completely. The ability to release attachments to things has become very easy. And when I think of, I always have spirit guides that I work with, and now when I think of those spirit guides, or I think of this Christ consciousness or anything like that, I can very easily feel them close to me. So, for me, this is very real. I think those of us who are gathered here now are being called to prepare future generations for this shift that is happening. The shift has been happening for a very long time, slowly and gradually. But now we have come to a point where we are transitioning from the darkness into the light. And our vibrations as vibrational beings of energy are going to begin to raise and get higher. And we might experience things that are a little bit strange to us that we've never experienced before. But I think the message that I'm receiving is not only do we have to release our attachments in order to get to this higher vibrational reality, but we have to, one of the main attachments we have to release is the attachment to fear. We can search within our bodies and know when we are vibrating at a lower frequency than if we are vibrating at a higher frequency. If we have anxiety or fear or depression, or if we're sad, any of these types of things we can begin to feel within our bodies. And those are the result of attachments to lower vibrational energies. And when we begin to release those attachments, we will experience joy. And that is how we'll know that we are on the right path, that we are connected. We are meant to be filled with joy at all times, and we are meant to share love and light with everybody that we see. That is our purpose. We are called to raise everyone's vibration, everyone's vibration. So it doesn't matter if somebody's making you angry or if there's anything like that going on. Our purpose is to raise the vibration of humankind so that we can transcend this level of understanding. And so those of us who are here tonight are called to begin that work seriously in everything we do. It doesn't matter what religion we follow. It doesn't matter whether we are Christian or whether we even believe or accept Jesus the Christ, because that energy came to me in a way that I could process that information and understand it. But it comes to everyone differently. It doesn't matter if you're Hindu, if you're Muslim, if you're Buddhist, any of these things, if you're pagan, whatever you are. You know, Mother Teresa there's a Mother Teresa quote that says something, I'm paraphrasing here, something to the effect of, our job is to make Buddhists better Buddhists, to make Muslims better Muslims, to make Christians better Christians. So whatever you are, whatever you do it. I mean, really do it. Really connect. We're moving into a period where we will no longer attach ourselves to the dogma. Mick is a very wise man, and he points out to us that we do want to get trapped in the dogma of a religion, any religion, because that's an attachment. We associate ourselves with that attachment. It becomes who we are. If I go to a Catholic Mass, oh, I'm the person that goes to a Catholic Mass. But we're not. We are eternal beings of light that are having a experience in this vibrating dimension. We are beyond space and time. Everything that we see here around us is things that we are creating, that our minds are processing in the manner which makes sense to us. But that's not who we are. We are beyond that, and we can create for ourselves a world that will bring joy not only to all of us, but to everyone who we come in contact with. And eventually we will raise the vibration of all humankind to the point where we will shift into the next level of existence, where we will not be physical anymore. So that is the message that I received, which I take to heart, and that's why I wanted to start this group. And the real purpose of this group will be solely to extend love and light outward to everyone, because we are all in the flow of creation. We are all part of that flow, the universal vibration. We are the universal vibration. Everything that we see, everything that we know or think we know, everything that we experience is universal vibration. So even that person that you can't stand that you work with, who makes you mad every single day, is the universal vibration. They are God the Father in Christian terms. And our job is to raise the level of vibration for everything and everyone. Plant, animal, human beings, So we have to release our attachments to the emotions that we have and to all the things that lower vibration, and we can tell ourselves what those things are. And we can help each other in doing that. And we have to bring the vibration up so we can begin to transform and make the shift a reality. So that is, I think, the only thing I needed to say. So now I think.
All right. A generation ago, if you had made a comment that you received communication from some other source, probably would have looked at you with some skepticism, if not strangely. But we all, every one of us, or most all of us, accept communication from out of the air to us, and we think nothing of it. And we should be allowing ourselves to understand that there's always, whether it's the animals that are talking to us, or our spirit guides, or ancestors continue to talk to us all the time, but we don't listen. And even sometimes when we do listen, then we want to revert back to some conditions that we're more comfortable with. I want to support your statement about raising the energy levels, because there's a 40-year research that has been completed or more in regards to the understanding of raising that energy level. And it deals with the kind of things that are the emotions that are generated with the words that we use. If we use anger, we use fear, we use grief, we use those kind of things, those have been calibrated to actually vibrate at a lower energy level than if you were neutral, or if you had some understanding. If you had some understanding about what was going on, your energy level would be so much higher that those issues that you had before would be so much less involved. And that research has been done by a guy by the name of Dr. David Hawkins in his work called Power versus Force. And he has another piece of literature called Truth versus Falsehood. But there is no such thing as falsehood, as well as there's no such thing as truth, in that there are varying degrees along the same spectrum of what appeals to you properly. Dr. Hawkins created a map of consciousness that has illustrations, words that were used with that evoke emotions. For example, we look at fear that you spoke of. Fear operates according to a scale that he has established here at the level of 100. And along with fear, the God view of somebody who operates in fear is a God view is a punitive God, punishes you. Life view is you're frightened all the time. Some of the processes that you use a lot is withdrawal. You just withdraw from because you're so afraid of things. If you should happen to get angry, anger calibrates at 150 compared to fear at 100. So you raise the energy level just by getting to anger. And with anger and aggressions, you feel better about not being involved in fear because you have raised the energy level. So your comments about energy, tied with 40 years or more research on these energy levels, is so correct. It has been proven scientifically by this work of David Hawkins. You wonder why December, the month of December, always is a good time. People feel good in the month of December. It doesn't make any difference whether or not you are Christian, following the Christian understanding of that month, or you're associated with it, primarily because there's these words that are applied to that season: peace, joy, love, excitement, optimism, and all these things. Joy, for example, that they keep talking about, joy, that season, vibrates at 540 on this map of consciousness, compared to fear that was down at 100. So there's no reason why, there is a specific reason why people feel better, is because everyone is establishing that attitude, and they're using those terms, those attitudes that raise them to that higher energy level. My wife has me, whenever I pass these kind of things out, put with it a think cycle. And think cycle is a piece of literature that I have borrowed from Neale Donald Walsch, his Conversations with God. Neale Donald Walsch, and this happens to be one of his line of thinking that I put a graphic to. But in essence, as you were saying, as you think, maybe I better look at it myself. As you think, you create. As you create, you become. As you become, you experience. As you experience, express. As you experience, as you express, you experience. As you experience, you are. And the more that you like what you are, the more you're going to think that way. So the options here are just a matter of choice. You can even fake it, and it will work. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You raise yourself to an energy level where you become, well, understanding is really, really high on the energy level. This map of consciousness at 400, because it believes that there is reasons for things. You can reason things out, and your concept of divinity is one that is wise, that has all-knowing, that has all the answers. It's just, I want to tell you that you don't have to go fumbling around. I guess it's one of the reasons we call God instances in our class, where something comes to you, and I went down and printed a couple of these off and stuck it in my envelope and said, well, okay. But the other reason is on the 24th of this month at the Way Memorial Spiritualist Church, I'm going to be a featured speaker on the map of consciousness. So if you happen to be interested in what I'm trying to do, and I'm having a hard time doing it now, is to condense 40 years worth of research into 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But I brought these along for you if you are interested in pursuing that. It has the author and the data down at the bottom, as well as Neale Donald Walsch's concept on the back. And go along with Penny, I suspected, because you ask me every time we meet, or every time you email, what about an ant? What about a hawk? Well, I saw 3 red-tailed hawks this afternoon as I was preparing for this, and the hawk offers an opportunity for you to be told about an expanded view of everything. Not a dogmatic view, an expanded view that includes everything from a very high perspective. So I brought some totem sheets too, if you happen to be interested in your, that's the kind of thing that he depends on me for. But I really enjoyed that association, because it has, by teaching someone, you learn. Of course, I've been a teacher all my life, but I learned that even more, that it applies to everyone. I'm really elated with the fact that we have a multi-generational congregation here, or sitting people to listen and to talk, whether it's the little one that was walking around with little microphones in her hand, and she was, she was high on that energy level. She was up there in joy, and she was having a good time. So that level of energy is contagious. It sends out. We sit in here in loving compassion with each other and having this kind of conversation. I would imagine, well, I can't say, but the energy that we generate, the positive energy we generate, goes many miles out from here. So don't think that, he has a hard time coming across with this, as sometimes we have a hard time listening to that kind of stuff too. But there's scientific evidence coming available now that tells you absolutely it's true. Absolutely true. One last thing. I had a friend of mine that is a member of the Krishna Consciousness. His name is Andy Frankel. He's a professional storyteller, outstanding, knowledgeable person in the Krishna Consciousness. And he wanted me to read a book that he has. He is translating the Mahabharata into which is an ancient Vedic piece of literature. It's 3,200 years old or more. And the first part of it was really, really interesting because it talks about these celestial beings living in the celestial realm, whether you're talking about Greek mythology and they live, the gods and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's the kind of celestial arrangement they had, and there were 4 or 5 of them that got in trouble because they were messing around and they were trying to trick this one lady and they were going to steal her wish-fulfilling cow, and they got caught. Guess what their punishment was? I've been a school disciplinarian a third of a century. Go to detention, go to get suspended or whatever. Their punishment was that they had to be incarnated on Earth. So here we are, friends. We all are here for some other reason that we have to learn about and hopefully change. But I thought that was, I felt like, that was pretty good. Now I don't have to be so upset with myself when I goof up or get mad or angry or whatever, because hey, I'm here to learn. So thanks for that. If you're interested in it, you're welcome to have this literature. And I really thank Matthew for putting this together because we've needed it. The friends that have missed our meditations on once a week.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. We had some great meditations, didn't we?
Thank you.